Here we
Hey,
are. It's Monday at 12:15. Well, actually, it's 12:16 on my computer, but close enough. Good to see ya.
good to see you. How's your week been? It's a great Monday to kick off the Jeff and Rhonda 12:15 Monday show with inflection components.
Exactly. It is a great Monday to do that. I've had a great week. It's been really busy. I mean, launching the opportunity for people to join the Inflection Point Hub was our big excitement for last week, and we're continuing on that. We'll talk about it later, but it's been a really good week, lots of excitement, and I can tell by your surroundings that you're not in your usual location. Let's phrase it that way.
I am not. We've talked in the past about the ability to work from anywhere, and that, and I'm actually up at the lake through tomorrow. So the background is very, very different than normally when I'm at home in the office. But yeah, the ability to work anywhere. The family and I decided to squeeze a last minute kind of trip up here to Michigan just to round out before school starts a week from Thursday for us, which is kind of crazy.
How
But
the heck did
decided
that
to get
happen?
one
Yeah.
more trip in, one more last hurrah of summer. And the benefit is work from anywhere, being able to do this and join you from that state up north, as we refer to it in Ohio.
Yes, we do. We do refer to it as that state up north for many reasons. It is a beautiful place to go for a vacation. Let's just phrase it that way.
Yes, that
And
it
we
is.
won't go any further than that because we might have people that watch our live stream that are actually people who have an appreciation for Michigan for other reasons. So anyway,
That is very true.
because remember, folks, Jeff and I are in the Columbus metro, and not just in the Columbus metro, but graduates of the Ohio State University. So
You are, I'm not, but I'm
oh,
a graduate by association. My wife went there, and
there you
I've been
go.
a lifelong Buckeye, even though I didn't graduate from college from OSU. And it's kind of a rite of passage if you live in Ohio, in Central Ohio. Saturdays during football season, people plan their weddings and things around that. So it's a pretty big deal.
This is very true. Our wedding was planned for an away game back in the day when an away game wasn't on TV. So, yeah, that anyway. So much for that. But today, we're going to talk about sustainability and why a community is so important for sustainability. Because our reason that we're going to discuss this week is because of new insights and knowledge that you can get by being in a community. And that's so important. I know that even just the small community that is the Jeff and Rhonda community, I've got a ton of insights and knowledge from interacting with you around systems and processes. Okay, and sometimes some usages of Excel, and I mean, there's all kinds of things that I've learned from you in the time that we've been um, on this project together, and even before that. Um, so being part of a community and having those other people that surround you in that community gives you that it's um it's in the mastermind world they call it the hive mind, the mind that's kind of the outside of any one person, but it's the collected knowledge of the group of people, and tapping into the knowledge of every other person in the group gets you an amazing amount of insight that you would not have had that opportunity for without that built-in group of people.
Yeah, I think that I love the hive mind
Kind
example.
of
I've never
frightening,
thought
actually,
about it
but you know.
that way, right? Like, but that is so true when you think about whether it's informal, more formal. When you own your own business, or even before you've owned your own business, you probably had mentors or people or groups of people that you leaned on to help guide and provide support, development, reassurance, help to tackle a challenging issue that you might be facing. And it's really no different for business owners. I think what the difference becomes sometimes when you're a business owner is it can feel a little bit lonelier at the top, because
That's true.
you're leading the team. And although you might have a team, there's specific challenges that relate to owners that talking to non-owners about might not make sense. It might not resonate, or it might not be something that they know how to set up a discussion or help you because they've never been there before. And I think that's really, one of the benefits for this new insights and, being a part of a tribe or a group that you can rely on with that diversity of thought, experience,
Yeah.
and just ways of thinking and doing things, that can really help break through some barriers that all owners tend to face in their business.
That's so very true, and especially when thinking about, I mean, there are a million things that business owners face: financing, cash flow, the dealing with human resources issues, the hiring process, having to fire someone. And especially as the owner, when you're having to make decisions, this is just one specific thing that's just really like a red light in my head right now. When you're having to make decisions around staffing and how to manage staffing from a cash flow perspective, who do we hire next? Okay, how do I deal with this with my core team? And is my core team that I had when I started this business still the right core team as I grow this business? What is the expertise I need from that standpoint? Talking to the core team around this can bring up some situations that feel really threatening to those people on the core team. Understandably so, because they may be sitting there going, is my job going away? And how can they be extremely disconnected from the process and not be looking out for their own interests as opposed to the interests of the company in that situation? That's humanly a massive challenge. So that's one of the places where having this community of people where you can come and say, folks, this is where I am right now. This is what I'm looking at. These are the challenges that I'm facing, and I don't know how to move forward from this. I mean, I know what I need to do, but how do I get from here to there? And do I have the right people on my bus in order to do that? And if I don't, then what do I do? So having that group of people that has different knowledge than you do, obviously, because maybe somebody's already faced this, or they faced it in a little bit different way than you do, or that's their area of expertise, that's their zone of genius. And then you can gain new insights out of what they've experienced or what their zone of genius is.
Yeah. The other thing that I think is always important on new insights from pure learning is it might not be that someone in your group has the exact experience or has the roadmap on what to do, but just as valuable might be what not to do. I had this
Oh,
situation and I did this, and boy, did this blow up, in
yeah.
my face. And Vision 2020, if I were looking back on this, I would have done these things differently. And I think I would have gotten a better outcome of what I was attempting to do. And I think that oftentimes is, an overlooked benefit. So often in society we face on just the good, right? That, oh, this turned out rosy rainbows and unicorns, and look how great this is. True, to some extent, but sometimes those things where you flop and fall on your face, there's even more learning in there that you can share with others other than just when things go well, which it's good to share that as well. I'm not downplaying that, but sometimes those I fell down and really bruised my knees on this,
Yeah.
cut myself up pretty good, and here's what I learned from that, and here's what I would do differently, is sometimes where you can get a lot of value in those peer discussions, and open up some new insights on, oh wow, I was thinking about going down that path, and I don't want to have my knees and elbows cut up like that.
No.
There's some good learning here, and I think I might adjust my approach in this way, for this particular reason.
That is a really good point. And being in the situation where you've learned the hard way about something, my dad used to call that going to the school of hard knocks.
Yeah,
Um, just to throw a little colloquialism in there. Um, that that learning is so valuable, and being able to share that with others, especially in that safe space where you can admit, hey, you know what, I messed up, and it's okay to say you messed up on something, because these people are they're your safe space to share those experiences, and the learnings from them can be so valuable for everybody else at the table. That's the other thing that I love about this is, so the person who's bringing their challenge to the table and the person who has experiences to share, they're getting great value out of this situation. But everybody else sitting at the table is learning at the same time. They might not need that information today, but there's going to be a time when they need that information. And this is kind of tucked in the back of your head. I remember when so and so and so and so were talking about this situation, and I know this is what they said about it. So I think this is what I'm going to do. But not only do you have, okay, so I know what the strategy is to participate in it or to move forward, but you have the opportunity to go. There's actually three things you can do. Number one, you can go back to the recording of that event. Now, that recording is not live for everybody on the face of the earth, it's only within your group. You can talk to the person who had the challenge to begin with and find out how they executed against it based on the conversation. Or you can talk to the person who was chiming in and saying, here's what I learned. I wouldn't do it that way again. There's three places you can go to tap into the thought process when it's time for you to face this challenge. And we all face the challenges as time goes on. That's reality.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's so many opportunities to get that and bring up those challenges that you might be facing, big or small, or key decision points or inflection points. See what I did there in
I
your
did.
business?
That was impressive, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good
know.
job.
I just thought of it. In your business to kind of drive forward, where these discussions might take you, and what are some of the things that you need. And the other thing is, I think, with the knowledge is sometimes as a small business owner, it can be lonely that you don't realize that there's experts that might be able to help with your particular situation or issue. And I think that's where a lot of this knowledge becomes really helpful, and important in groups like this, to get into a group where they have kind of a curated listing of experts that they're going to bring in to talk about various topics. And depending upon where a business is, those topics could vary in a lot of different ways, whether it's more of a small but mighty business that's starting, to grow and are on a growth trajectory, maybe a business that's small but mighty, but they're looking to exit, and move on to something new. Those challenges can be very, very different for each one of them. And I think, one of the other benefits with that is, as you find a tribe like this, to help you, it's meeting you where you're at. There's a lot of groups out there that, will focus on organizations that have 1 million, 2 million in revenue, or groups that are just focused on helping business owners exit once they reach a certain milestone. And I think, there's an underserved market for what I'll call, whether it's middle America, mainstream America, your Main Street business owners
Yes.
that are small and mighty. They're employing people, they're adding to the economy value through employing people, creating good products and services, but we're not quite where we're big enough to hire all of these experts, and or there's not really a group that caters to where I'm at today. Aspirationally, there's some groups that I'd love to be a part of, but I'm not there yet from the size of the business to be able to qualify to join that group. And I think that there's a real opportunity kind of in the market. And what I've seen is people informally have some of this, where they might meet another business owner somewhere that has some similar backgrounds or hit it off like you and I did. You
I was
mentioned,
thinking that this is sounding vaguely
yeah,
familiar.
very, kindly about things that I've helped you with, and vice versa over the last couple of years, where we've been having a conversation about something in my business, and Miranda's like, well, wait a minute, let's rephrase this a little bit, because this isn't X, Y, or Z. This is really about A, B, and C. And why are you not doing this? And I've benefited from some of your executive coaching where it's like, well, I don't have an answer for it because that's a really good question and a really good thought process that I haven't thought of. And I think sometimes you get fortunate enough in your journey where you find someone like that. But it's more of a singular, right? One to one, not a one to many, where you're
Mhm.
learning from multiple people.
And certainly that has value. There is value in having an executive coach, a business coach, a mentor. The value in having a community that's larger than that one-to-one situation of you plus the advisor, whatever framework that advisor functions in for you, is the advisor has a space that goes like this. When you have that community of people that's larger, the space opens up more and there's more opportunity for interaction, for value, for gleaning new expertise, and for sharing your expertise with the others in that group. You don't want your group to get so big that like 500 people. It's like going to, okay, speaking of Ohio State University, the Ohio State University.
There you go. Remember, they trademarked the word "the."
I know that's just ridiculous, but never mind. You know, at Ohio State, when you go there as a freshman, and I don't know what the enrollment is today. It used to be 50,000 people. They're not all on main campus, but there's still probably 35,000 people, I don't know, who are enrolled on main campus. That is a multitude of people. And I came from a school where I graduated with like 285 people. I know, stop laughing. I know your graduating class was way bigger than mine was. Nonetheless, that super large amount of people kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller because I had the people that were in my dorm, had the people that were on my floor. I had my roommates in my dorm room. And then I got into my major. And so I went from there's 35,000 people on this campus into my major, which was smaller, and then my specialty within my major, which was smaller yet. So, bottom line is, you want a smaller group that you can interact with and really connect with on a deeper level, which is what the kind of community that we're talking about does for you. It allows you to develop relationships within a group where you gain from the expertise of several people as opposed to one. And in doing that, you tap their experiences with all the people that they are connected to outside of your group. If that makes sense.
It does. It does. And I think that that's, you've nailed the nail on the head, so to speak, with where these group benefits really come into play. And, within those groups, as you go from like this bigger audience like your OSU down to more finite, the group itself could be larger, but when you're putting kind of these subset groups of people, you get to know them really, really well, and you still get the benefit of the broader community if you need it to
That's
tap
true.
into. And I think that there is a lot of value in that, because if you think about, as an individual business owner, the amount of time, if these people aren't all together, to figure out where all these types of people hang out, what do they talk about, how do I bring up some of my challenges with someone that I met, to know if they would be the right person to have this kind of discussion for. There can be a lot of time, quite frankly, wasted in just trying to find and create your own kind of hub. And sometimes if you go and create your own, I think you run the risk of um, getting too many people that are too like-minded, meaning
Mm-hmm.
personality wise and things, that you start to miss, as you get together with this group that you might put together on your own. You tend to kind of go with people that you click with, that you probably have some personality styles and things that mesh really well, and you're a lot more similar than dissimilar, and that can lead to some groupthink and not always the best outcomes, for taking advice. And I think that's one of the other keys of, really finding a group that can help get that new insights, because there's a diversity of the people that are part of the group, the experts that are brought into the group to help with, challenges, and that whole idea of peer learning from one another, is really where it's at. Letting others share their zones of genius with
Yeah.
others in the group, to help propel everyone forward in their business journey, on whatever that might look like for them, is really key and important.
That's so true. And I'm sitting here thinking about some of the places where it's very obvious in our I don't even know whether I want to say in our society or our culture, but we have become very tribalized and narrow in who we socialize with, and that can be really constricting in our ability to see new opportunities and find the best solutions. So, while certainly um, it's possible to create your own community, it takes a lot of time and it takes energy to create that. I mean, we can speak to that because we're in the midst of creating a community, and it does not happen by just snapping your fingers. If only that would be an awesome thing.
It
But it
would.
doesn't happen that way. That doesn't mean it's not worth the time and energy. But if you're a business owner who's out there growing your business, finding the right people like this is challenging. And tapping into someone else who's creating a community where you can find people that are like minded from the standpoint of their business owners that are in small but mighty businesses with the goal of growing is a great place to find new insights and knowledge, to leverage the expertise of people that are being curated as being ready or being good resources for the stage that you're in your business. So they're not people who work with Fortune 500 companies. They're people who work with small businesses and they understand the challenges that small businesses have, but they also understand that this small business doesn't want to stay at this level forever. This small business wants to grow. But in the meantime, the small business owner wants to not be on call 24/7, 365. Yeah, I know. As the owner, you're always on call 24/7, 365. But there's on call and there's on call, if that makes any sense.
Yep. It does. And, I think what you had mentioned about finding that group is a really good segue into, we've talked a little bit about, we started this journey with kind of these inflection point moments. We thought, hey, it's something fun. We can get outside of our comfort zone, be on camera. I think these have gotten better over the last several months when I've looked at some of the previous ones. But it kind of started this way, and then this kind of has evolved into the Inflection Point Hub that we've launched. And really, what the hub is getting at is putting together groups of small but mighty business owners that want to grow, have a growth mindset, both personally and in their business. Which I think is kind of a distinguishing factor. This isn't just for someone that has no interest in some self learning. If all you want to do is grow your top line, that's a part of what we're going to be doing in the Inflection Point Hub, and bringing together these curated experts to help people that are in this, what Brenda and I both believe as an underserved market, for folks that, just don't have the resources available to them as a bunch of one-off advisors, or there's really not a group kind of catering to this small but mighty business owner that's, has under a couple million in revenues, where there is a need there. And we've seen it in our own practices and together, and have spent a lot of time kind of curating these experts, things to help as the business owner and leader become more aware and more effective as a leader, not just in how they lead the business and the financials and whatnot, but how they lead as a leader in their business, which I'm super excited about. So you want to share some of your thoughts on that? It's really the Inflection Point Hub, is what we're calling this. We're bringing this all together for business owners, and there's a wonderful opportunity right now. We have applications that are open to join the hub, and we're doing the application process to make sure that we get the right fit into the group. This isn't an open invite. Anyone can join. Anyone that owns a business that's small but mighty can apply to join. And we're kind of matching our first cohort group up to make sure we've got some diversity in industries, backgrounds, what people can bring to the group. So we're super excited about getting this off the ground here as it's officially launched.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, you described it really well. I'm sitting here thinking, what additional information do I need to tell them? I would like to say that we are going to limit our initial group to 8 people, because that's a good sized group for people to interact together. So in other words, we're not taking more than 8 for this initial group. This starts in mid-August. And that as time goes on, we're going to grow the group bigger, but not massively bigger. It's going to be a small, curated group of people over time that are all growing their business and growing themselves, growing their self. There is not a good way to say that. There's not.
No, there isn't.
Rolls off the tongue that says it. But basically, it's the ability to know and understand who you are and what you as an individual bring to the table. Now, we all know that we bring our business self to the table, but you as a person, how do you function bringing that to the table? And we're going to kind of uncover some of those things. That's why that safe group of people is important. Not because we're going to go into anybody's deepest, darkest secrets. That's not the point of this. But learning some things about yourself and the things that energize you, because that's where you bring the greatest ROI. That's where you are. When you lean into those things, you are the leader, the best leader you can be, and you bring others around you to build your team. Not that I'm like on my soapbox and, cheering about that. As well as looking at your needs and values, because those all feed into your business and putting words to those things. I mean, they're here, they're like in the back of your head. But when you put words to those kinds of things, it helps you to lead your team better. It helps you to know how to approach the way you do business more effectively for you personally. Because I don't care how Michael Hyatt or any of the other gurus lead their business, or Marshall Goldsmith, or, um, Mark Cuban, or anybody, fill in the blank of any business leadership guru that's out there. That's great for who they are. You have to lead as you. And when you know how to do that, and when you can confidently step into you as a leader, it makes all the difference in the world. So yes, we're definitely going to be talking about the whole business side of it, and HR and processes and systems and marketing and sales, and the 16 hats that you wear as the business owner. It may be more than 16, I don't know. But there's a lot of hats we wear as business owners. But there's also the individual that we are, that we bring to our role as the business owner. And I will climb down off my soapbox now, because I could probably go on for another 5 minutes. But knowing this and helping yourself and those in your cohort understand how you might be showing up as who you are in your business is so incredibly valuable, and will release the opportunity for you to lead more effectively, which can grow your bottom line. So if people want to apply, they should go to RhondaPeterson.com. And Rhonda is RHONDA, as you can see from my little banner down there with my name on it. RhondaPeterson.com /inflection point hub. We got hyphens in there. I don't know why, we do. Go there. That's where you'll find the application. We would love to have you join us.
It's a great end to a great discussion on a Monday. So again, RhondaPeterson.com / forward slash.
It's like, what?
Oh my gosh. Inflection point hub.com.
Go no, not .com at the end.
What was it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed it up.
Okay, it's all right. RhondaPeterson.com. That's where the .com comes in. Then then a slash, then inflection point hub. Got it?
There we go.
Yeah. Got no .com at the end of that. Don't put
no
a
.com.
That will just confuse it.
But we hope to have additional applications from anyone that has joined us today to join our group. And as Rhonda and I like to say, we will see you in the hub. And if not in the hub, we will see you next Monday for our next inflection point moment that is also part of the hub, where we go a lot deeper on a lot of these topics.
Absolutely. Jeff, have a great rest of your working vacation. And I'll see you next week.
Sounds great. See ya.